Alright, YouTube, what's poppin'? We're here with the first episode of this Podcast series. We're going to be once a week, ideally, interviewing not necessarily a local player, but somebody we feel is worthy of being on the Garbrodors Podcast. And in today's episode, we have
Oh,
Evan Gregory you might recognize him from the Garbrodors Monthly. Uh, Evan, say hi.
bonjour. Hi,
So,
it's me,
As you
your
guys are
boy.
looking at right now, this is his list that he got top 32 at the Roanoke Regional Championships with. Want to say anything about the deck before we really dive into it? Any fun facts just about the deck? Things you like?
Um, I started playing it right when Lost Thunder came out. I had asked my friend Zach. I'm like, all right, this original deck idea didn't work out. I was actually planning. There was like a cup, and I thought that Genesect Naganadel was busted, and it was funny because it actually won a tournament in Japan. But then I was like trying it with Ray. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna run this Genesect spice, and then I'm just like, all right, it's terrible. So I was
Yeah.
like, and then I thought about Mill. I'm like, what can we do with Mill? And then I'm like, in order to play Mill, the meta has to stabilize. And I say that even though literally everyone chose to bring Mill at Rono.
Yeah, that was pretty
So,
weird.
it was a bad idea. Even the people who did good with it, I still think it was a bad idea. Going back, it's like, oh, Mill's gonna do good. I still would be like, I'm still not gonna run it. I just think it's a poor decision.
So
But anyways,
going into Roanoke, the main thing that people were doing with Bucephalon were running like the Lysander Labs variant. You obviously aren't. You're running the one with choice bands. Why did you choose to do that?
so um Zach was like, you should play with Cephalon, Evan. I'm like, all right, so I decided to do that, and then we brought it to the Garbrodors turn
E.
monthly, and that was like, all right, I'm gonna go to a tournament. I'm gonna do as much playtesting as I want to figure out the best way to run this deck. We started out with a bunch of techs with the Alolan Grimer, Alolan
I remember
Mug,
that.
and all that.
You started Alolan
And
Grimer like every game of the tournament.
I know that costed me. Like I probably would have ended up winning if it weren't for the Alolan Grimer. I felt very confident, especially because we had been updating the deck and um originally with the Lysander's Labs, I if you notice that I didn't have any stadiums before, I think. I don't
And
know
you
if I
played Heat
had any
Factory.
stadiums. Just Heat Factory in the original
Yeah.
list. And then, because that's what Zach told me to do. And I was like, I hate this. I want Ultra Space. So I threw in Ultra Space. And then we went to like Portsmouth League Challenge, which I got second at
Yeah.
with Blacephalon. And Zach, then that was when the Lysander Labs was becoming popular. And it was like cheeky at first. And I thought about it. I'm like, oh, it helps you get shrine. I was trying to like debate what was better, two choice band or two Lysander labs. And I thought about it, I'm like, both suck. Because um having did I have choice band at the Garbrodors tournament?
I don't
To
remember that because the main reason I
because
bring up the fact of choice band is because now that I've been playing Buzzwole for a while, that's like kind of the reason you run it. I feel because Naganadel, like if you're not in three prizes,
yeah,
you attack with Naganadel. But at that tournament, I played Zorak Lycanroc, and the format was so new that nobody was playing Buzzwole yet. So I don't even if you did run choice band, it didn't really matter it too much. So I don't
I did
remember.
it. I knew that Zork was going to be super popular at um Roanoke because everyone has been playing. Zork is nothing new. It's been played for ages. And I figured that having Choice Band would allow me to use like four energy, not
Yeah.
having to use five. And I noticed that when you play Lysander Labs, you're basically saying, all right, I have to commit five energy to this piece of crap. I'm like, no, I hate having to do that. So, and I think it did help me out a lot because you can also um Ray, so you have like 230 HP because
Hmm.
then you can use choice and use 4 energy. I really think it helped out with the math, and it did win me games. I think choice band is the um I
Yeah,
guess
like
option out of Lysander Labs and choice element.
when testing, like going in the Roanoke with Buzzwole, I figured I considered Blacephalon to be easily a 50-50 matchup. Depending if they're playing Lysander Labs, it's Buzzwole favored. If they're playing Choice Band, it's Blacephalon favored. Um, but just overall, because of that split, I feel like it makes the matchup, just generally 50-50. And basically every single Bucephalon play, I played against five, and all but one played Choice Band, or all but one played Lysander Labs, and I don't know, I felt really strong about it. And then whenever I played against you at that League Cup and you beat me, the second you attached the Choice Bands, I'm like, this is not gonna work. And I don't know, your list makes me struggle because before they had to rely on Beast Energy in order to take a knockout with Meganito, because that's you have to use Meganito in the Buzzwole matchup. Um,
Yeah.
and without Choice Band, it's just super favored because they can't knock out a Buzzwole GX in one hit. So before we move on to your matchups for this tournament, what would you say your worst and best matchup is with this of like the general meta?
Mm, hmm. First matchup, probably like Gramble or Spread. Like those non-GX attackers that are just actually
Hmm.
probably Gramble. I think if you just can't kill their Mancargos, you're just not gonna.
Yeah.
They're just gonna sauce on you. There's really nothing. You basically um try to knock out a Mancargo, Marshadow, and Prey.
And what would you say your best matchup is?
Ooh, Buzzwall.
Hey, no, 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 I can't agree there.
Buzzwall.
I,
Buzzwall, man. Ooh, I see. I think what um what solidified me like my decision on playing Blacephalon is that I realized that I have like I felt like I had enough skill to sauce every mirror match, which I did, and confidently beat Buzzwall, which I thought was gonna be amazing in run.
I mean, it was.
And Zorak. I felt like those big three. I always like pick three big decks. I'm like, all right, I can guarantee beat these. I feel really confident that I can sauce on these three decks that I think will be big. And I mainly focus on Zorark because it's always going to be here. There's always going to be people playing Zorark. And um, I went to the Battle Fiesta the day before,
Hmm.
and I got the 3 straight wins. And I was like, oh my gosh, this deck is so solid. But it was actually kind of funny because literally like at 11:50 at night, Zach and I were changing up the list,
Yeah.
and I really am proud of like how much I worked on this deck with him because it's like, all right, he's like, all right, you should play this, and then I take it turn tournament, and then I say I hate this, and then he like made another recommendation, and I try it out, and then I say I hate this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that trial and error.
Hmm.
Um, and I finally said, I hate the Alone Muck. It took me the month to say, all right, I'm tired of the Alone Muck. It's not worth it. And then we just decided to go straight, smooth, consistent. And that's what won me a lot of games is that I feel like the deck is so smooth and consistent.
Yeah, I feel like
Um,
everybody kind of had that trial and error and crackdown, and the only big difference, it was like the main split with that was the Lysander Lab and Choice Band. But for the most part, every single person who played the deck kind of came to the conclusion that it needs to be that ultra consistent, four of
yeah.
everything deck. All right, so we're gonna start going over your matches now. So I'm just gonna go from round one up to round 14. and you could tell us a little bit about the match. And if you don't remember, just tell me to move on. So we're gonna start with round one versus Carter from Team Poggers. You guys know him.
So
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 go over tell them what deck they played, and then talk about the game.
um so I roll up, we see each other, and we already knew what we were playing. It was the same thing that we were playing at the Garbrodors
The
monthly.
finals, no,
We
the
was
top
playing
four, top four.
top four and Swiss
Uh-huh.
round one. It was funny because I went against him round one in there, and I went against him. But he was still playing the same deck, Zork, Lycanroc,
Mhm.
and this time, and I literally said to him, "I'm not running Alolan Grimer anymore. Good luck." Like it was like 50-50 before, and the Alolan Grimer screwed me over, and now I'm like,
Yeah, if you
okay,
guys remember
all
the
the
your match on stream that we ended up posting, it was so pitiful. Your hand was just full of energies, and you had nothing going for you.
like we fixed up the deck, and now that all the texts are gone, it's straight, smooth, consistent, and I'm like, good luck. This deck is probably gonna sauce on you, and I knew exactly what was gonna happen to Zor, because like that was my main goal in beating Zor, just saucing him straight,
Mhm.
and it was a quick 2-0, and I mean, I guess that's what the preparing for Zoroark pulled off for, getting that easy win.
Okay, so yeah, you're 1-0 at this point. Round two, you play against a guy named Nathaniel Orr. How's that?
So,
What was he playing?
Bucephalon, he was also playing Bucephalon. First mirror match of the day. So, um, I win the dice roll and get a mulligan, and I've played a lot of the mirror match, and I was pretty confident that I could beat anyone, mostly anyone, in the mirror match. Like, especially because I knew that, not to be like mean, but I knew that a lot of noobs were gonna choose
Yeah.
Bucephalon because it's such a simple deck.
Uh-huh. And it was
And I
like
was like, all
obviously
right,
the big thing going into the tournament.
yeah.
Because theoretically
So
it
I
beats
made
Zoro
sure,
Control.
yeah. Um, so it was kind of like, oh, I guess kind of countering the counter. Like if everyone's trying to counter Zora Control with Bucephalon, then I gotta make sure that I can beat the Bucephalon mirror match. And it's basically who knows the matchup better.
Mhm.
Um and the I think that there's actually some skill in using Bucephalon because watching other players play it and watching how your opponent plays it, um cuz my friends have been tried Bucephalon at cups and they didn't do as good as me. And I think that just cuz of the experience with the deck, it adds a new level to it. It's like, sure, it's easy to pilot, but like there's like another step to it, and
Yeah.
that's utilizing bursting burn.
I hate that
And
attack.
yeah, it's like it's knowing how to use
That
bursting
attack
burn.
lost me my winning in at the Garbrodors monthly. um.
And always setting up that turning point. I did it both games. I beat him, and knowing how to set up the bursting burn and turning point really brings home the win.
Right. And before I move on to round three, there was one question I forgot to ask. Is there, like, because Roanoke was right after LAIC and we just saw Zoro Control kind of take over the whole tournament, is there any cards in this deck you played, like, because you were expecting Zoro Control that you regret playing because there was no Zoro Control?
No, no, all my friend, my little, my team and I were really on that was a terrible play, and if people do play, it's because they're too late on the deck and they're probably terrible at the.
Yeah.
So I knew that I'm just gonna sauce on them just because they're bad.
All right, so yeah, now that we have that out of the way, Round 3, you tied against a guy named Alexander Holtz. How did that game go?
Ooh, I feel like I was pretty
What was he playing?
once he was playing Decidueye Ninetales Swampert.
Ew.
No, keyword no Zork, so I could not take advantage of the Zork matchup, which I planned to beat. Um, and because it was Swampert, he got that
Super boost.
saucy weakness. Yeah, super boost. It, the first match, um, I'm pretty sure I beat him, and then he pulled through with the win because of the Swampert. And I was like, ah, can't beat that Swampert. It's such a pain. And I feel like he figured out what to do, like using Swampert more and not like putting down Decidueyes.
Yeah.
So that was tough. It's such a big thing because Swampert kill and sublimation is like the wombo combo.
Mhm.
Um that like that's how they're gonna get 4 prizes right there. And an even bigger thing for them is if they can set up that feather arrow sublimation play to dodge the B string.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if they're really big brain, then they'll try to like do that wombo combo. But I had a feeling that once he won the second game, I was like, he's not gonna have enough time to do all that feather arrow shenanigans. And um, if they go into game 3, I think it's really hard for them to win.
Yeah.
I've noticed that about Decidueye. If they hit time, they just are like, what do I do?
Well,
How do I pull?
I played one Decidueye at Roanoke, and it was against Rahul. It was round 4, and we were both very speedy when we played. So we made it to game 3, but I knew there was no chance of us tying, and it ended up going all the way, and I was really nervous, but I was able to, buzzwool it out. All right, so continue. You're in game 3.
Yeah, the pace was like actually fine. It's just that it's just weird how because it wasn't just this match. Another match down the road will kind of hit this same scenario where Decidueye is backed against the wall in time.
Uh huh.
But we just ended up we couldn't neither of us could really pull through the win, so we ended up tying. Which I was fine with. Going into lunch with 201 felt pretty good.
Yeah. So round 4, you're back from lunch. You play against Xander Bennett. You lost that game. What was he playing?
He was playing Skeptile Zorak
Oh
Decidueye.
wow. Okay. Tell us about this game.
And I like I said earlier, I dropped all the techs and just went for straight smooth and consistent.
Mhm.
And I feel like Skeptile, I say this to my friends, and I think I heard it from somewhere, not sure who, but Skeptile is the Greninja of the format.
Yeah.
It seems like it can beat everything, and then you run it, and it just is like, oh my god, what? It's like it kind of like has that clunky setup.
Uh huh.
And um my team and I agreed that I don't really care about Plumeria. It's
Was
just
he?
gonna
It
get in the
was
way.
Baby Sceptile, right?
Yeah, it's baby Sceptile, and Plumeria is kind of awkward anyways because they just attach 2 energy, and then even if you discard one, they'll still have the other energy. So it's like, eh.
And just to be
But
clear, the Sceptile protects everything with a grass energy on it, right?
yes,
Okay.
that's why I was also running the Zoring. It would be safe.
Mhm.
And then Decidueye was basically a replacement for Lurantis.
Uh huh.
Um, but both games, I got him down to 1 prize after burst, and I couldn't finish the game because I didn't have Plumeria.
Yeah.
It was like
So you got
fighting
you
the
got 2
final
would.
boss. Yeah, it was like fighting the final boss without like that without that power up. Like you were
Yeah.
missing the last key to the puzzle.
Uh-huh. So after losing this game 2-0, do you feel discouraged at all about your list choices, like not playing Tex?
I was like, I was triggered that I lost because I didn't play one card, and I had like a rant for a while to my friends. I'm like, wow, I lost because I didn't play one card. I did everything perfectly, got him down to one prize, but he got the sauce set up, and I didn't run Plumeria.
So
But
you're
then my friends were like, don't let that one match get you down. Like it was like you didn't run Plumeria. And they're like a lot of them were like, yes, this is why you should have run Plumeria, Evan. I told you. I'm like, no, I'm sticking with straight, smooth, and consistent. Even after that match, I'm like, Skeptile is garbage. I don't want to see it again. And I also realized that was one Skeptile. What are the chances that you go against another one? Like, really? Like, I was surprised that I even went against one. Like, I mean, I kind of expected that I'd go against one, but I figured, like, it was just a crap deck and you're just going to fly all over it. But it just sucked.
right.
It
So you're
didn't
two
happen.
one one. Round five. You're playing. You win against this man named Christopher Vayner. What was he playing?
Now, he is shuffling his deck, and I see some green stuff. I'm like, oh no! Oh no! The heart starts pumping. I was legit. When he flipped over a Trico, I was like, am I about to lose
Wait,
this
he was playing
run?
Sceptile too?
Yes. Out of I was literally just got done talking about what are the chances I'll go against another Skeptile. Literally the next round he flips over Trico. I'm like, I can't believe I'm about to lose my Roanoke run to this garbage.
So
But
what
then
happens this
oh,
game that's different from the one before?
the same exact thing happened game one. I get him down to one prize and I lose because I didn't run Plumeria. I was like, wow, running Plumeria really bit me in the butt. But then I get to go first. I start Blacephalon, attach, do my setup, and then pass.
Hmm.
He has Skeptile in the active, attach, pass. Well, he says, pass. Attach, mind blown for game. I was like, boy, we just took a cheat win. I'm like, this is what
Wait,
happens when
how
you
did you
play
mind blown for game if he had a grass if he attached?
Trico. This is like turn. This is game
Oh,
two.
you said Sceptile. I
I
thought you.
start.
All right. Yeah, so
Oh,
he just said
yeah. I
Trico.
said. Yeah, I said game one. I start Blacephalon. He starts Trico.
Okay. I thought
I
he evolved.
attach.
Okay.
Do my setup. Pass. Blah blah blah. And then I mind blow for knockout. I'm like, whoa. Skeptile finally bricked. Maybe we can get a win if they finally brick. Because, like, that's what I thought. I thought Skeptile would just brick on people, but they just got the perfect setup. But then, so we go into game three. Um, he got the Trico out, and I'm like, wow, at least I got the one win. But then I managed to get like all my Guzmas and started swinging really quick. And I knocked out like almost all his Trico and his Ditto. What? I mean, I was attacking every single turn, but there was like a point where he just couldn't keep up, and he was just like, "Yeah, that's game," and he scooped. He just, because I guess I put like too much pressure on because you can't really come back. I guess
Yeah,
like
once you kind of get rid of all the
he did.
Tricos.
Yeah, he hit like a point. And he's like, "All right, I can't." It was just too fast.
So did you ever get to like right when the game starts? That was your game plan ever to just start like attaching as many energies as you can to a Lele, or what was your game plan going into the Sceptile matchup?
Oh, I had like no game plan because I didn't even think I would go against it. Because like literally on the way there, um, all my friends were asking me, like, Evan, you're not playing Plumeria. What happens if you go against Skeptile? I'm like, they'll just do bad. And I'll just get a free win because Skeptile is bad. That's literally what I said. Skeptile is trash, and I stand by that now.
Well, me too.
And Skeptile is trash. You'll get a free win. And they're because then after I lost to Xander, they're like, "We told you." But then after that match, I was like, "Oh, I told y'all. I told y'all that it was bad."
Yeah, I was because obviously Bucephalon's better or worse against Sceptile than Buzzwole is because I have access to Lycanroc and Ninetales.
9-10.
But I was in the hotel lobby on Friday night, and the junior who won Memphis happened to be staying there, and he came down and tested it, and he was playing Alolan Egg Sceptile, and we played like
Oof.
5 or 6 games, and the deck just can't keep up with anything. I won like every single one we played, and then I in the the League Cup the next day on Sunday, I played against Alolan Egg Sceptile, and the deck just bricks so hard. It can't do. It
I
just doesn't
know.
set up ever.
That
Um,
was my point about like Xander. I felt like I should have won. Like I got down to one prize. Like why aren't you bricking? Like why aren't you people bricking?
yeah,
It's
and I
just my
tested it
luck.
against Seth a whole bunch because he for some reason thought it was good for a long time, and I tested lots of decks against that, including Bucephalon, and the deck just doesn't work. Okay, so
I
you're
mean, that was my point about like the analogy with it being
mhm.
like the Greninja of the format. I'm like, you think it's good, it looks good on paper, and then you start dealing hands, and you're like, this was the worst life decision I've ever made. Because if you look, Xander dropped,
Yeah,
and then Chris went 4-4-1. I'm like, see, it is a bad.
like if you think about it, people are saying like Sceptile is really good because the biggest deck in the format is an Ultra Beast deck, so obviously I'm gonna win. But then if you think about like when Zoropod was on top, Greninja's an ability lock deck, and they're like, oh yeah, so the biggest deck is it can't win if they're ability locked. So Greninja's the best deck, and then they just armor press you until you lose. And
Literally, history repeated
I
itself,
know.
and people did not learn from their
That
mistakes.
was the most fun matchup when I played Zoropod. If my opponent flipped over a Froakie, I just knew I was gonna win. Um, Basically, if I played anything and my opponent flipped over a Froakie, I knew I was gonna win. I hated Greninja. It was my least favorite deck ever. Um, so
That's how I feel about Skeptile
you're
now.
3-1-1, and you're going into round six. Against a guy named William Woodard. I don't know how to say his last name. You tie this game. What was he playing?
So it was another mirror match, and so this dude, he's wearing a lumberjack hat, and he drops down a Chick-fil-A tray. I was like, dude,
Hey,
that is
the
so.
legend.
And I'm like, dude, can I get a picture of all that? Blah 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 blah. So we play out our game. I think he won game one. Um, it was basically the same thing as round two, but I think this guy was a lot better. And interesting that he was playing was Hala. I thought that was pretty cool. So shout out him for him to playing Hala. Um, but we do our two games, and then they call time,
Mhm.
and we were setting up. I think we rolled the dice before they called time, but we were like still shuffling. So, but since we rolled the dice, we were gonna play it. Um, I think it's like once you determine who is going first, you've started the. But um, so he's turned zero, and we both know that there's no way that we're gonna win. And he sets up, gets the saw start, and drops turn one Marshadow. Luckily, I started two point pull, so I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna drop Ultra Space or Mysterious Treasure or something and get another point pull and just pass. And um, I like so I think if you know how I draw, I like pick up the deck and put down my cards. I think you know that.
Yeah.
Um, But I accidentally put down 6 cards thinking that it was Cynthia because I'd been used to doing Cynthia and putting down 6.
And you were supposed to do
And
4.
yeah, and he called a judge. And I think I no, I called a judge because I knew I'm like, all right, I made a mistake.
Wait, did you look at the
And the
cards?
judge, no, they're still on the table, and we told him that. Um, and he's like, yeah, I believe that it doesn't it's really not that big a deal. And I noticed that too. But then I felt like my opponent was trying to rule shark. I was like, it was a dumb fiasco. Nothing actually happened,
Yeah,
but he
if
got triggered that nothing happened.
do
I'm
you
like,
remember the
dude,
guy at did you go to Charlotte Regionals?
which one?
Charlotte
Like, I
last
think
year?
the one that was horribly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, there was some big thing that happened with John Eng. It was a similar situation, like he played Cynthia or something like that, and he put his six cards down face, like he didn't look at them; they were face down on
face
the
down.
table. And his opponent called the judge and tried the rule shark and got like super triggered when nothing happened, and so he actually started like screaming and almost got kicked out of the event. It was really
Yeah,
funny.
it was. I'm like, I even said to Jay, I even said to him, I don't really care about a double prize penalty because it doesn't affect the game. And I think what that guy didn't understand is that the purpose of the judge, because Zach told me this, because he's a judge. He's like, the point, you're not supposed to, you're trying to disrupt the game as least as possible. Like
Yeah,
you don't want it to, a judge ruling should not decide the game. And that's what this guy like
wanted to
when
happen.
he wanted the double prize penalty, but I even said like, what does that change? Like, well, it changed it. It was such a dumb thing, and nothing happened. But he went off and talked to his friend.
Yeah.
It changed nothing. It was just a time, but it was just a Blacephalon me. Just like,
All right, so it's round seven now. You're 3-1-2. You're looking pretty good. Only have one loss, but you still have to win some games. You win against a guy named Ethan Marshall. What was he playing?
um, I'm pretty sure that this was the Quagsire Naganon.
Ooh.
He flips over Wooper, and I'm like, oh my god, am I about It felt like round 5 when I was like, "Oh my gosh, am I gonna lose my run to this garbage?" That's exactly what I said again. I'm like, "Deja vu, I've been this place before. Am I gonna lose?" And um, I wanted to play some turns out, and I wanted to think about how I was gonna win, and I wanted to take some time to think about how I was gonna win. And once I decided how I was gonna win, I scooped. Like I just took game 1 to think, and I'm like, "All right, we're just gonna YOLO it in games 2 and 3. And game 2, I think he had a it basically did what the deck does, start up slow, and I outsped him. He's like, all right, let's just go to game 3. So it's been pretty quick. It was pretty quick game 1 and 2. Um, but this time I think he like started wishy washy, and because I got the 2 prize knockout. And after that, I used Naganadel.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I think I actually used Lele too to because I think Quagsire needed 3 energy, 3 or 4. He like put 4 energy, and I was like, okay, because I have 2 energy on Lele, I can energy drive for 6 times 2, so that's 120. There we go. And I ended up taking the W, which was pretty nice. Like, wow, I actually man.
All right, so now you're 4-1-2. If you win your next game, you can ID, right? Because you'll be
No, I
no,
was
no,
four
yeah, no,
one
yeah,
two.
yeah. You have to win your next two. Sorry. Um, so you have to win your next two in order to make day two. It's round eight. You play against a guy named Benjamin Kane. What was he playing?
Buzzwall.
Ooh,
Buzzwall
tell
like
us
and
about
rock
this
nine
game.
tails. And that's what after playing against him, that's what made me realize Buzzwall is an easy matchup. He had a rough start game 1, and he bricked game 1. So then we go to game 2, and I feel like Buzzwall just has, if it doesn't get the sauce, it can't beat Bullsef. Like if it doesn't get like I feel like it has to get
The
perfect.
main thing you have to do is get the turn 1 unit energy on a Vulpix.
Yeah, and I don't think he did. I don't either that or I killed it. Like I think it was the Ninetales wasn't a problem, and I think that's what lost him. He couldn't get that stuff started,
Uh-huh.
and so I just
So was
I
it a
think that's
2-0?
the yes.
So you easily take out Buzzwole. You're 5-1-2. It's your winning end, round 9. You play against a guy named Jalen Jones. What happens?
So he flips over Ralt, and I get PTSD flashbacks to me versus Ben. Like I know we tied, but I felt very uncomfortable with guarding Ninetales,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, "Oh my, is he gonna steamroll me?" Because he was also running the Swampert. I was
Uh-huh.
like, "No, not Swampert!" I was literally the heart is pumping, but because I dropped the text and went for the straight, smooth, and consistent. Um, I realized that I realized Guardy's weakness, and that like it was hard for him to get like energies, and I think Ben told me that too. Like the problem with Guardy is like even though you got the Swamper and you get everything set up, like has it's like has trouble finishing through. It's like yes, you have this big intimidating Guardy. It's like all right, you kill me, B string, B string, B string, B string, knockout. What are you gonna do now? And I don't even know if he got the sublimation thing going. So he wasn't able to use that. I think I think if you don't get sublimation like turn one, and because it's possible, like you have the if you go first, you have the Vulpix attack, get your stuff set down with a I think at least one Ralts or a Ditto, and then you evolve rare candy, get the attached to Guardy, and then you sublimation, and then they set up a big Blacephalon, knock you out. And then because you already had the Guardies on the bench, and you didn't have to let one die to a Blacephalon, you're able to load up a Guardy and knock out another Blacephalon while getting your Swampert. Because you can also, the biggest thing with Guardy and Swampert is that you can Secret Spring DCE
Choice band.
knockout. Yeah, choice band knockout.
Uh-huh.
And that's what the scariest thing is. Like that's their game plan: sublimation, hydro pump, and then get the last two prime.
Yeah.
But I was scared that was gonna happen, and I think he did set up this one one of the games, but Guardy did not get um the sublimation thing going. Like they didn't get that combo going, so I just steamrolled them. It's like you either do or you don't.
Yeah. Did they ever get a Solgaleo up or did they play Solgaleo?
Yes, I think the first game he did, and then the second game he was like, "All right, this isn't worth it." I don't. I think the first he was like, "All right, this isn't."
Like, do you think the Solgaleo helped him or made him? Because it's not
No,
like, yeah. Um. So you win the game. You're 6-1-2. You make day two. How are you feeling after you win your game?
I'm hyped and tired. I was because I've already had the experience of making a top 32. I was like, "All right, I need to get sleep,
Hmm.
and I'm hungry." And
So
we
you go back to the hotel or whatever you are. You look at what had just done super well. How do you feel about the Lost March deck doing like way better than it was, expected to?
I did not care at all. We I knew that I know that it's a hit or miss deck. I I know that every single tournament um there's always going to be one lost march in the top 32.
Hmm.
And I you can look at the LAIC, and I had already started to see that trend going on. And because you figure out that it's not about what won the whole tournament. It's not about Zor control. It's the trends. And like seeing that in the case of Lost March, and the Japanese tournament. So it has the history and the trends. And you realize that Lost March is really a hit or miss deck, and there will always be one in day two. And if you look, that's what happened. I think all of the tournaments, there's just been one or two that sneak by. I
Yeah.
was
Um.
not surprised. I was like, you hit or miss.
So you get back to the hotel. You don't care about Lost March. You just go right to sleep.
I
So.
tried. Maybe my teammates were keeping me up
Uh huh. Did
until
you
like 12 or 1 at night,
did you
and I
do
was
any
trying to get
testing
sleep.
when you got back?
I planned to do testing against Gramble with Zach because we had seen that it was I figured that I wouldn't see any Gramble during Swiss, but I knew that the good players would be in day two, and I was
Yeah.
like, all right, I'm
Gramble
probably gonna have to
basically
deal
beat
with it
me out of my
now.
winning in.
Um, we were going to, and I'm like, I just need to get some sleep.
Uh huh. So
Zach is the Granbull master, by the way.
which
He
Zach are you
used it to
talking
win
about?
Newport.
Oh,
Zach
Zach.
Loman.
Yeah. The player I
He
lost
won.
against was also Zach. He was Zach Taylor. He was fifth seed going into day two. Um, but
Wow,
so
fifth.
you show up the next morning. You get there. Oh, and also I talked about unknown or Lost March. How do you feel about the unknown deck happening?
Um, before Roanoke.
No, like
Um,
after day one, like that night.
yeah, but before Roanoke. Um, the someone's PC gang is in our area. We're all in here around here,
Mhm.
and Zach had like heard that they were getting the ancient crystals and Regigigas and all that going, and so I kind of knew that it was a thing. I mean,
Oh, hold on,
I
my
wasn't
PTCGO just did
totally,
a thing.
I wasn't 100% in the scoop, but I was like, I heard it before everyone else, but I wasn't 100% in the scoop.
Yeah.
It was like hearing the news before the news happened.
Mhm.
But I thought it was cool. I like that. That's the kind of thing that I would run. And um we had Saul Russell, and we told him that I made top 32, and he thought I was playing Mill. He's like, "Oh, you playing Mill? Not this time. Not this time." Usually, because that's the thing that I would bring. Like, if I had known about it, they would probably expect me to bring that to run. I
Yeah.
probably would have been more. But I I I didn't want to worry about it. I feel like those kinds of decks, you you didn't know about it. They're just gonna do their thing. Hopefully, you don't go against them. You probably won't, because I feel like people worry too much. Like you're probably not even gonna go against it. Um, but that was the thing. I say that I'm like, oh, I'm probably not gonna go against it. Don't worry about it. And I go against Butch.
Yeah, and that brings us to
Round
round
one of day
10.
two.
First game of day 2, you play against Butch Smith. What happens?
As soon as I saw Butch's name, I'm like, hello, darkness, my old friend. I was like, I knew things weren't gonna go well. I just hope that I start Poipole, and the best you can do is start Poipole, drop a Nagana down, or honestly, there's really nothing you can do. Because I did not run the Nagana LGX,
Uh-huh.
there was really no hope, and he knew that too. We both knew. I'm like,
What does the
you
Negated LGX
planned.
do for you?
So if you don't know what the spicy tech, it was 4 mil, and I think it was the second place guy ran it, and it was to put yourself at 3 prizes, and then it gives you access to beast ring because they're not going to knock you
Oh,
out.
that's right.
So you put yourself on beast ring, and you have 3 less prizes to take
Uh-huh.
because you're just gonna burst anyway. So you get 2 extra prizes basic.
Mhm.
Um, and then if you were ready for mill, what you would do is get the stinger, then Marshadow, knockout, and then pray that they couldn't follow up.
Yeah.
It was mainly Marshadow, and I realized that I'm like, maybe I could get a cheap win off of Marshadow, but it was just terrible. It didn't work. But I
So
expected a loss,
did you
so
get
I wasn't
2-0'd?
too. Yeah, I
And
wasn't
oh,
bummed out about it.
how many games did you have to win out of the 5 in order to make top 8?
3.
You had to win 3?
Um,
But you did win 3.
yes, I did.
Yeah, but
Win, 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 loss, loss.
how many did you have to win in order to make top 8? Did you
Oh,
have to win?
top 8?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant because Zach was just like, all you've got to do is just get 3 wins and you're solid.
Mhm.
But um I finished with 29 points, and I just needed one of my losses to be a tie in order to get top 16, and I needed one more win to be one more win would have solidified top 16 and would have been in contention. I think all the 10, it was like everyone in top 8 had at least 10 wins.
Uh-huh.
10 or 11. It was something like that. You had to do pretty good.
All right.
But I was just aiming to solidify top 32.
So you lose to Butch, and then round 11 you play against Pram, who's playing Guardy, right?
Yep, and this is what I talked about, the sublimation thing.
Yeah,
He
I remember
got
that. So
that
yeah,
right
talk
off the
about the
bat.
whole game.
Um, he gets do you want to go into the sleeves
Yeah.
fiasco?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So, just to get this straight, I'm not a cheater with my sleeves, and it was a little thing that dominoed, and I'm surprised. I was most proud of myself because I pulled through, even with the fiasco going in my head. Like, it was hard enough going into these top players, and then to have this whole sleeves fiasco running through your head, worrying about it. It was so hard. I was proud of myself for pulling through. So what had happened? He goes first. He has this sauce set up, and I'm just like, all right, we're just gonna try to hope that the same thing that happened round 9 happens here. Because that's what happened. Like I said earlier, Guardy sets up and steamrolls you, or you steamroll them because they were too slow. So I get my setup and attach and burst GX. And I take my prize, show it to him, and put it in the discard. It was like a beast or an ultra space or
Yeah.
something. Not a big deal. And he has this awkward face. And I'm like, what did I do? I just bursted. What do you? Don't yell at me. And he draws his card. He thinks for a second, and then he calls a judge. I'm like, what did I do wrong? How did I manage to do something wrong? I'm like, we already had the Marshadow incident, which was just a warning.
Wait, what happened
But
with Bar Shadow?
don't you remember with the Blacephalon mirror match, round 6, the
Oh yeah,
tie?
yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
I drew the 2 extra
Yeah.
cards. I'm like, I didn't do anything wrong. All I did was burst. And he says, your sleeves make me uncomfortable. And I'm like, what? And what was even funnier is that in the middle of round 9, I forgot to say, I should have said in the middle of round 9, they had a mid-round deck check,
Yeah.
and they said everything was fine.
Uh-huh.
So they come over, they look at my deck. I mean, they look at the prizes, they look at the things that are on the field, and then they look at the deck, and they're like, "There's no pattern or anything. You're not cheating." Um, but your sleeves do have like dirt and stuff. And I had them at least since the Garbrodors tournament. So I can admit they were kind of old. But like it was like dirt, on the top corner, and
Yeah.
it wasn't even like that big, and they were on all the cards.
Mhm.
And they had talked about it for a while, and they wanted me to buy new sleeves. So at first I was like triggered because I'm like, wow, Pram just costed me money. This boy made me buy new sleep. And looking back on it, I would have slapped myself in the face and told myself to stop being such a wuss about it. I'm like, dude, you need to get new sleeves eventually. Like, stop being a little bee about it.
Mhm.
Like, but I was like, what did I do wrong? They're just sleeves. And I even said before, I'm like, they said it was fine. And so I'm like crying on the inside. I'm like a little girl just shriveled. I'm like, I have to buy new sleeves. And he gets the setup, he gets the sublimation and all that. I'm like, I don't even want to play this. Like my brain was just like, I don't want to do this right now. Let me think. And I just scoot. And then I wanted to see how game two went, but he got a good setup. He got a decent setup. I'm like, I'm not thinking. I need some time to process this. So I just sacked the game. I'm just like, all right, we've already taken 2 losses. So we're on winning ends, and we have to get new sleeves. Like so much is going through my head right now. And so I run back, tell my team what's going on, and my friend lets me borrow his extra sleeves, and so I sleeve up, and then I went to the judges, the same judges, that were in the situation, and told
Yeah.
me that I should switch sleeves, and they said it was good.
Like they said
They
the
said
new
one
sleeves were good.
sleeve. Yeah, they said the sleeves that I borrowed were good. That they should work.
Mhm.
And so um now this goes into round
Round
12.
11. Oh yeah, yeah, you're right. Round
No,
12.
round
So you play
12.
against Ty Pelliccia, and what was he playing?
Buzzwole, Lycanroc,
Eee.
Ninetales. And I felt pretty confident, and I think we played like um I can't remember. He I think he ended up getting the sauce set up because you remember how you said that. And I think I barely lost. I know one of the games. I have a hard time remembering like who won game 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly I don't think it matters too much. But it's like I think I missed B string on one of the games, and I was like, all right. I felt pretty. I was feeling good about Buzzwall, and then he just got the sauce. But then I managed to pull through the game 2, and then we get mid-round deck check, and
Mhm.
I'm like, boy, I got a deck check already. Am I good? And they're like, well, we're just checking anyway. And then they come back, and they're like, oh yeah, so you see this one sleeve? It has a ding on it. And luckily, because there's something like a Blacephalon or whatever, they're like, oh, it's not like a tech card or anything. Huh, this is where not playing tech cards really came in
Yeah.
handy. So I don't look like a cheater. Yeah, most of the, luckily it was like on a Blacephalon. It's like it wasn't a key card, so it wasn't like cheating. But still, they're like, do you have an extra sleeve on you? And I'm like, uh, and earlier, it was actually funny because I forgot to mention this detail. I keep forgetting these little details that make it even better. But my friend had an extra sleeve, And I'm like, oh, I don't think I'll need it.
One
And he's
extra
like,
sleeve.
just, yeah, he just had one extra sleeve. And I'm like, I don't think I'll need it. I literally said, I don't think I'll need it. He's like, just take it just in case. And I throw it in my bag. And here we are. They're saying this one sleeve has a little ding in the middle, and you should replace it. And so I'm like, well, I would have to dig through my bag right now, and we're in the middle of. Do you really want me to do that? They're like, all right, you can do it. You can just change it after the match. And I had actually called the other judges over that I said that they said they were
Yeah.
good. And they told them, they're like, yeah, we thought it was all right. And they looked at the sleeve, they're like, all right, yeah, it was kind of. So they agreed that I should change.
Uh-huh.
But one of the judges, he had like, I remember him mostly because he had blue hair, slicked, and he's one of the coolest judges ever because he's gonna hang with me through this whole fiasco. Oh my god, he was the real MVP. He hung with me and helped me out through this whole fiasco. He's like, I understand you're just having a bad time. And they were like, you're not cheating. It's fine. We understand that you're not cheating. You're just having a rough day.
Uh-huh.
And so I end up pulling through the win. I'm like, wow, I just need to win 2 more matches and we solidified top 32. And I managed to find the sleeve, and it turns out to be even more dinged up
Because you threw it in your
than
bag.
the first sleeve. Yeah. And so I showed the judge, I'm like, this is the extra sleeve. He's like, all right, go buy new sleeves. I'm like, dang it, I'm gonna have to use money? Ugh. So um because we had the time extension because of the deck check, we were like, I didn't have much time. And I said that to him, like, I don't think I have that much time. He's like, all right, we'll help you. So I run over, get some new sleeves, come back, and he's busy. So I gotta find the MVP, and he's like, all right. They call the round. The round starts, and I find him, and he's like, all right, I'll give you a time extension, and we race through the deck, and he's like, you are just not having any luck today. And it was even funnier because the sleeves were all slippery. And he's like, and he even said, this isn't gonna go well. So we get to the thing. I'm all nervous and bent out of shape. And I didn't even bother looking at the name of the person.
And then
I
you
just
realize that
get
you're
straight
playing
to my
against
turn.
Rukan of Team DDG.
I know. I'm like, I see this Asian dude. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, I gotta focus. And then I look at the match slip, and I'm like, I barely looked at the RK9 Labs match thing. I just saw the match slip and saw Rukon Chow, and I was like, boy, boy.
He's
And
probably playing what, the like Decidueye?
he was running the Brocan deck, and I was trying to shuffle and the judges were still around. And I even like I dropped like all my sleeves. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm so shaken up over this. And they helped me get started, and then we finally get started. He cuts the deck, and the top card has like this. I think it was like something was wrong with it in the corner,
Uh-huh.
and I called a judge. I called the guy back over, and I'm like, this has a ding in it. And um the MVP judge comes back. He's like, yeah, it's okay. He just bought new sleeves. We'll just replace it. He the whole time he helped me out and backed me. It's okay. He bought new. These are brand new sleeves. It's not his fault. And so we switch it up, and then So here is where not having Swampert helps out the match so much.
He was playing Zorark in the deck.
Yeah, it was Zorark instead of
Yeah.
Swampert. And um they need to his goal was to get the snipes and then the sublimation.
Like to play around B string.
But yeah, but um Blacephalon puts on so much pressure and speed, and I pressured him so much that he didn't have the time, because it takes time, because you gotta, all right, feather, right is speeding, do all this shenanigan stuff. But by the time you set up and dig for energy and all that, and energy is the biggest problem with that deck. You run like what, 4 rainbow, a couple fairy, and DC.
Uh huh.
Whiffing energy is such a big thing with that. And then um it just takes so long to do all those feather errors and then sublimation. I just outsped him. But the second game, he did pull it on, I believe. But I was at like 2 prizes left. I was so close. I thought I was gonna 2-0 him.
Uh huh.
He he clutched through. It was very close, and I thought I was gonna win. But he got the sauce. I thought, oh no, he did something. Something happened. I think I like bursting burned or something, and then he Acerola for the win.
Oh.
Like something happened, but Acerola sublimation, do the feather arrows. Like he got the wombo. And because I didn't run another Marshadow, I couldn't have stopped. Like, and that's where I start contemplating, like, is second Marshadow, because people have been like debating, like, the reason I like Tulele is because I every single game I wanted turn one Lily,
Yeah.
and like 90% of my games I got turn one big Lily, and just overwhelming your opponent is just so much. Like, you're so intimidated when you see this big Blacephalon, big Lily hand. You just got Marshadowed. What are you gonna
I
do?
mean, weren't most
Especially
lists
with,
at Roanoke playing 15 fire energies?
I think so.
You see, you're running 16.
Yeah. Um, I think this was like the night before. This was Friday night, 11, like literally like 11:30. When we took out all the techs, Zach also said that I should take out Sightseer, and I think that's what became the 16th.
Yeah.
And um I never wanted to whiff energy, because there was actually a bunch of times where I managed to whiff energy. And I feel like having the 16th like rounded it out. I mean, 15 is a solid number. I had a lot of unlucky times with whiffing energy. You would think that running 15 energy in your deck, you would hit it, but I actually managed to whiff. I have the worst luck sometimes.
Okay, so
But
let's bring it back to game 3 against Rukey.
yeah, I was about to say. Um
What happens?
I think we both get the we both set up really good, and it was set, we were trading, and it was a really good match, and he was about to get his strategy on with the feather arrows and sublimation, but then they called time.
Uh huh.
And this is where I mentioned earlier, this is where it's gonna bite Decidueye in the butt. Um Hitting Decidueye is like backed up against the wall when it comes to time. And he said, I don't have enough time to do the feather arrows and hit every um and you'll probably just, because I think I had, he was like, do you got Guzma? and I don't think I did, but I got Lele Guzman for the game. And I think
Like you
yeah, he
top
said
decked
something
Lele.
like, I don't have an, I think I dug for it or something. I don't know. But I did manage to get the, but it was really close. It was a very good game. And we talked about it for,
Mm-hmm.
it was very close.
All right, so round 14 comes now. It's you're winning in the top 32. You've been in the
I
situation the day
know.
before. You're playing against a guy named Ryan Antonucci. What was he playing?
So, I didn't know it at first, but he was playing Buzzroll. I was excited when he was playing Buzzroll Lycanroc Ninetale.
Mm-hmm.
But I was actually considering to ID. So earlier I was talking to my friends like, should I just ID? Should I play it safe and ID? And they were like, yes, if you can get the ID, ID. So I offered the ID and he said no, because he wanted to go for top 16.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, we'll just play it out. That's fine. And I was so glad that we didn't ID because it was it was just like the match with Ty. Um he got a good setup and then we were like trading good. Cause it does seem like 50-50. You are trading good, doing knuckle impacts, mind blowns. I
Wait, hold
but
on.
I
Wait. You
think he
you were lagging for a second. Can you like rewind a little bit?
oh um I think basically he whiffed B string. Like he did everything right, but he got like one B string or none. And I think that's kind of what's interesting. Um, I think I Marsha. He already played his Nine Tails to try to get the sublimation,
Uh huh.
but then I Marshadowed before B string turn because that's what you try to do against Blacephalon or Buzzwole is Marshadow them and hope that that sets them back because it hurts. I think it hurt him because
Yeah.
he wasn't able to get the. And then game two, it was I was really hyped and intense because like, after the fiasco, I think my friends were watching, people were watching. I actually didn't even realize, but after a while after, people were like, you know we were watching you, right?" But it felt anticlimactic because he just started Marshadow, got Buzzwall, and that was it. It was very for like the final round winning in, you know.
Uh huh.
And I think it ended up costing him top 32 because 9 points. I think you it seems like yeah, 27 points. Like all every 29 points guaranteed top 32.
Yeah.
And if I had tied, I would have missed it.
Mhm.
But he would have been no, he would have missed it too because he would have been 28 points. So thankfully we did not ID. But all the 29 points made top 32, 30 points top 16, and then 31 in high.
For top 8.
But I was so happy that I got like after everything that happened, going against these really good players, I was like, I cannot believe I just pulled that off. Finishing in, and it was funny because I finished exactly where I started. My goal was to just stay still and pull through and hold it tight. And I went in day two at 24th, and I ended day two with 24th.
Wow.
So I was like, yay, we got our goal. Just win 3 matches and stay still.
Okay, so overall, Roanoke is a full 20. Rate it. What did you like, dislike, just about the tournament?
In terms of like how it was run,
How it was run, side events, just your opponents, everything. Judges.
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it's definitely better than North Carolina. And I thought it was really cool, but we didn't get that opening ceremony. Like we didn't get. Uh, I was shocked back in Philly. They gave us an opening ceremony, but we didn't get an opening ceremony here. So I
Well,
guess it's
actually,
0 out of 10.
we did have that
Well,
long talk
we
about
did.
beast energy on Bucephalon.
True. That's where the budget went.
Yeah.
That's where the budget went. Talking
Uh,
about Beast.
we
I
talked.
made sure to listen to that. I'm like, that's very important. I'm gonna need to use that later.
Yeah, we had like a full 30-minute talk about beast energy scenarios on Bucephalon with like burst and discarding it, and then we talked about the
Shit,
dude
mind blown.
who got the guy who cheated at LAIC, like shuffle your opponent's deck, and which is it's kind of sad that
Yeah.
they need to say that at the opening ceremony of a big regionals. Um,
That's where all the that's where to tell. But I thought I had so much fun. I had gotten I got to go with my friend.
yeah,
Most of my friends got to come. Only like a couple didn't get to come because of Thanksgiving. They went out of town.
yeah,
But the whole gang was here, and it went perfect. I was so amazed that I think the whole theme about Bucephalon was just consistency is key. Like it proves that consistency is key, and how this meta is like because of like the stage ones and twos now, it's slowed down, and they like brick stuff. So I'm like, all right, I can just. I think Bucephalon, you have like a guaranteed setup, and then you just steamroll.
yeah.
But overall, it was
All right, and the
and I
last
was
thing
so
we're gonna
excited to
talk
get
about,
my
yeah, the last thing we're gonna talk about today is since Roanoke. We're basically talking about the League Cups you've played in with the Cephalon since Roanoke. Any
yes.
changes to the deck you've made or you want to make? Do you plan on playing Bucephalon longer? Are you moving on decks? How have your cups and just other events been going since Roanoke with this deck?
I changed absolutely nothing.
It's the same exact list you've been playing since Roanoke?
And I went to Richmond and made top 8. And then because of do you want to talk about the mysterious treasure fiasco?
Which one? I don't think I heard about that one.
After our match, I
Oh, that one. Yeah.
um yeah,
Yeah, you can talk
so
about that.
I beat you, and
Uh-huh.
then thank God for the repair. Oh, repairs for the win.
That
And then
sucks.
Russell and I take the ID, and then we turn in our decks, and we eat and all that. We get back, and Zach, who was judging the event, we're all bros and all that. He's like, "Dude, you forgot to write down 4 mysterious treasure." And before the event, I had David check the deck, and
Hmm.
he said it was good. And like the cards, my deck was fine. It was just a simple. I literally just forgot to write 4 mysterious treasure, so I had to run 4. I had to run 20 energy in my deck. Blacephalon. I made top 8 with Blacephalon 20 energy, and this is where why I say mysterious treasures for losers.
Yeah.
20 energy is the way to go. Um, so I of course lost. Right, I had a game loss, and then I just, of course, I lost because I didn't have mysterious treasure. I couldn't get the
Yeah.
top eight. Just happy that I'm. But then, um,
The next day you went to Virginia Beach.
yeah, and I won the whole thing. I was so shocked. Um, but actually, there was a bunch of Skepti. My friend Leonard was running Skepti. His other dude was running Skepti. I saw a bunch of Skepti, so I was like, I think that and I dropped because we were talking about it, is like what would we drop in case we really needed. So we just cut the 16th file for
You should have cut the mysterious
and
treasures.
oh yeah, right. Am I right? But it did not help. I went against Ultra Necrozma, beat it. Malmar Spread, beat it. I beat the Beeman. Um then round 3, I believe. Yeah, round 3, I managed to get a real game against I think it's Christian Ortiz. He was the one that
Beat you in top 8 at Richmond.
yeah, because of the free one. I'm like, all right, we get a real match now, and I beat him. I'm like, yeah, that's what happens when I get my mysterious treasures back. Um, and then I just ID'd with Butch, and then because there was 4 3-0s,
Uh-huh.
me, Butch, this other guy, and Russell Parr. Um, I just ID'd with Butch, and then I ID'd with the other guy, and we just ate some lunch, and we got the easy top 8. And I figured that I was just gonna end at top 8, especially because I started Lele against Butch, and he wasn't running Mill this time, but he was running Zora Decidueye Ninetales, and he got um I think he had a good start the first game, but the other 2 games he bricked. So I was actually surprised that I made it past top 8. But then I went against Smetna, who was running Lost March. I was like, dang it, we made it so far. At least we made top 4. But I actually managed. I think he won game 1, which I expect. And then I was like, we're just playing. I'm just playing for fun. I don't really care. But then I managed to get my Naganadels and all that going, and I won. And I was like, hey, I could actually. I have this theme of not doing good game 1, thinking about it, and doing better the second game, and then saying, hey, I might actually have a chance.
Uh-huh.
3 starts a rank, and I get the burst, and they call time. I was like, so because he had the bad setup, and I was already ahead with the burst, um, he couldn't really
Does
catch
it
up,
does
so
it
he
work
just
like
skipped
whoever's
it.
ahead wins by default or something?
In the top, it's whoever is ahead.
Yeah.
And then if that gains a prize, like let's say you both go down to 4 prizes and you couldn't finish the game, you couldn't take another prize, then you go into sudden death.
Yeah.
But he he knew he couldn't because of the Oranguru start and the burst, he couldn't catch up, so he scooped it. And I was like, wow, I just beat Lost March. I was like so shocked that I beat Lost March. But then guess who I go.
You play against Russell, who's playing Empoleon, right?
No, Russell ended up winning the other cup, but um I think the finals was him and Christian Ortiz,
Mm-hmm.
and Ortiz lost. And then he managed to beat Russell this time, and then we had a final showdown. He beat me in top 8, I beat him in Swiss. This is the final battle. But I started Lele, and I was like, no, is this how we go down? But then I managed to take the win. Um I think he like no, he won because the second game um he misplayed, and he had accidentally he shouldn't have sublimation. Um he was like everyone was watching, and he says sublimation GX, and he touches his prizes, and he's like slow, and he thinks he's like, oh dang it, And I knew the misplaced too. I'm like, why didn't you just snowy wind? And he's like, I meant to. Because he said sublimation, so he couldn't take it back, and he just took the two prizes, got my B strings, and um, I started pulling through, and then he brings up I knock him out, and then he brings up Decidui, and we're like super confused, and in his head he was thinking about snowy wind, so he was gonna like hollow hunt,
Oh yeah.
and we were all like, what? And so I'm just like, choice band, mind blown, two energy knockout,
Yeah.
and we're all it's like an awkward moment, and he's just like, dang it, and he just scoops the game three. No, was it? Because I know one of the games he ended up bricking or something. He did something really weird, and I know whatever the last game was, he scooped it. He's like, "You got it," and I was so shocked that I managed to win the whole. I thought I was gonna lose back at.
Uh-huh.
Like I knew top eight was solid because I went 302, but then I went against Butch. Dang, and I started Lele. I was like, listen, but I managed to pull it through. I was just shocked.
Alright, so
Getting 40 packs in the champion mat.
before we wrap this up, is there anything else you want to say about your deck? Any of these tournament experiences? Uh, anything you plan to
Um,
keep doing with this deck?
um, people have been PMing me and asking about the deck. I honestly think the deck is solid. Don't run Plumeria. It's trash. Skeptile, it's not worth it. Um, I guess you could drop the one, do two Marshadow and one Lele. I think that's pretty agreed on. But I really think that smooth and consistent is the way to go because it got me the results. You if you really like the Alolan Muck and the text, you do you. Um, but I think just straight is good. I wouldn't like change up like a bunch of things. I still like the two Ultra Space. No, don't.
Don't run Lysander Labs.
Yeah, it's. I don't think it's worth. I mean, if you think it's worth it, I guess it depends. I I guess whatever you're comfortable with, because the thing is, I have been playing with it since the Garbrodors monthly,
Yeah.
so I'm like super used to the deck. You would have to play it how you like to,
Uh-huh.
and how I have it. Because like if you notice, I only have two Cynthia. That was that's I've been getting a lot of questions about that. I only like two Cynthia because I feel like the only reason I use Cynthia is to put if I get like a bunch of B string and Guzma early, I want to like put it back so that I can do stuff, you know?
Mhm.
Because like if you have soft clees, you don't want to soft clees a Guzma and a B string. You
That's
want to put
awful.
that stuff back. You want to put that stuff back. I guess if you really like four or three Cynthia, that's good for you. Sightseer is. I've realized that Sightseer is dumb. It's not worth it. Soft clees is the way to go. Um, I will never get. I think Blacephalon is so solid. It's a better version of Ray. It's
Yeah, that's what kind of
because of
agreed on.
Beast String and Ray. You saw the everyone knows how good Ray was and knows how good Blacephalon is
And
now.
your quote-unquote Vikavolt is a stage 1 that actually can attack, and you can
Yeah.
power it up in one turn with Beast Ring if you need to, and can take it like a one
Yup.
shot, and it's really good.
It's
And
a
and
Vikavolt that stage one that actually kills Buzzwole.
and yeah, it hits Buzzwole for weakness, and it can just with Choice Band hit 190 on other things if you need to. Um, or Beast Energy too, you can make some plays happen.
Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
so if you enjoyed this podcast, make sure to leave a like. It's our first one. We plan on doing one a week with a different guest every week. So thanks, Evan, for coming out. If you want
no
to see more
problem.
cool videos like this, subscribe here on YouTube. Follow us on Twitch at the Garbrodors. We're at official_Garbrodors on Instagram, the Garbrodors on Twitter. Join our Facebook group, Garbrodors TCG. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later.